And before we know it, we'll be done. All right, so everyone is muted. Session will be recorded, and then there will be a survey after, so thanks. And we are going to be chatting, so thank you. Someone said, well, does everyone know that they can chat and put their questions in? So there is a chat feature here. Currently, right now, you can click on the down area next to the host is what someone's telling me. So the visual of the chat. So you should be able to see the chat box there. There's also maybe other areas, you know, at the top too of my screen. At the top, I see where I see participants panel on the upper right-hand side. I also see a chat button there. So there's lots of ways that you're going to be able to ask questions. And since there are a lot of people in the session, I do definitely want you to ask questions. But if for some reason I can't get to answer your question or it's a little bit too deep or something, I'm capturing all of the questions, and then Kara and her team and me will create like an FAQ, and then we'll send that out. So after the session, you're going to get a certificate that you can create for your own self, you know, of your attendance. But then probably not today, but mid next week, let's say, we'll get that FAQ together and we'll send it out. Okay, so definitely just chat your questions away during the session. I'll stop and I'll look at some of them and answer as many as I can. Okay, so a few pages of PowerPoint, and then we're going to go live. Hi, Lisa Jones here. I'm super happy to be here today. I'm coming in from New Orleans today. Usually I travel around, so I would love to have come there and travel around and meet everybody, and maybe one day I'll be able to do that. I hope so, but in the meantime, here I am here, and I'm happy to be with you, and I'm really happy that everyone's spending a little bit of time learning about your new resources, because like I said in the previous session, I get excited when they're cool resources, right? So I'm not like, oh no, how can I make this seem fun? You know, when I look at Learning Express, I'm like, okay, this is great. Learning Express is super, super useful, super powerful, and a great tool for you to know about. So we're going to first look at that. And it really is just a tool that you can, and it took the place of your Gale Turk tool. So it does have, it's basically a test prep tool. It wants to prepare you for something and move you on your way. So there's practice tests, there's tutorials, there's eBooks on all these different topics. So we'll start there, okay? Okay, so if I unmute Paula, oh wait, unmute Paula. Sarah, is that you?
Yes, can you hear me?
Thanks, I'm sorry about that. You have a hard time getting in.
I don't know what happened. It's okay. I'm Paula now.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, so your team from Inspire is here. Thank you so much. And they're also going to, you know, we'll follow up with this, but then they're also always available to you, you know, as you move forward and are using these throughout the year and beyond. So after that, if we look at Learning Express, so we're then going to go and look at your eBooks, but we're also just going to use Explora for that, because this is homework help. So a lot of times you want to find articles, you just want to find something on the topic. It doesn't matter if it's an article coming from a magazine or a journal, or if it's an ebook, you know, a chapter from an ebook. You just need to find information about a topic. So we'll use Explora, which you've had for a while, but you never have had those ebooks included in that, and now you do. So it's that much more powerful. And then we'll look at the end at Literary Reference Center. I just did a small training on this earlier. It was like the last few minutes, and I'm going to kind of do the same thing. I think these two are your main. This one's very specialized, and I think that if you've used any of the other reference centers, you'll be able to use Literary Reference Center too. So it's just mostly about the content, you know, remembering you have that and remembering that what content is in it when you need it. Okay, so I think that now I am ready to share my screen. And Hopefully we're not going to have any other problems like we did earlier. I didn't do anything with my screen. So hopefully it should be a large screen. You shouldn't see duplicative screens. Now, if you do want to chat to me, which I hope you do, you will go to the top of your screen with your mouse. The WebEx menu bar will drop down, and the chat bubble is there. And I'm going to move the chat over to my other screen here. I think that's okay. So thank you. Everyone's saying full screen looks great. So that's what we want. So we're starting on Inspire, and just FYI, your Inspire search here is searching a lot of your resources at the same time, the majority of the resources, and it's multidisciplinary. It's also ages 0 to 120, you know, or however long people are living these days. So this is going to be for everyone. It does include those ebooks. The one thing that it doesn't include, it may have links going into Learning Express, but you're not really searching or using your test prep items when you're searching Inspire. So the test prep is really its own thing, and there's lots of reasons for that, and we'll look at that. And you know, if you don't already understand why it has to be separate, then you will. So Inspire, a great way to find, just quickly just do a search and find some resources, including those new ebooks that you have, which you do have. I thought I'd written it down, but I think it was like 60,000. It was either 50 or 60,000 ebooks, and I did write down my other session, but I can't remember. But you have a lot of ebooks now, and that you didn't used to have. So let's just look here. We're going to go into Learning Express first. Remember, that's our test prep environment. So I want to access it either by going to databases A to Z, or I can go by subject, or here where it's tiled. And I'll use the tiled here, and I can see that I want to go, you know, this is the same kind of thing, the other subject. So here is where I can go into either the K6 or the 6 through 12. Yeah, 60,000, thank you. Someone said, yeah, last time you said 60,000. So you do have 60,000, or I think it's like something like 59,000 something or 58,000, so it's almost 60,000 ebooks that you have. So they're separated out, so I do have the ability to only look for ebooks that are in that K-8 collection, or I have the ability to only look for ebooks that are in that high school collection. But I just really want to use Explora, because I know the ebooks are in there along with my article search and along with primary source documents and good, you know, all the things that I'm going to need in the school environment or in, you know, for a homework help environment. So I want to leave it, keep it real simple. And I'll actually use, let's see if I do read more. I actually want to use the Explora. Is it here or maybe here? I was looking for that Explora for middle school, but let me go in your subjects. I think it's a little different here. So I think here you actually have, yeah. So I'm just I wanted to go in the middle, right? Middle ground, because there's probably everyone here, public librarians, but along with high school librarians and elementary librarians too, and teachers. So let's just do, I'm just gonna jump in the middle. And because I am not in the state, it's actually asking me for a login. So I have a login for that. You won't have to have that because you're in the state, and it does geolocation. Oh, and I can't talk and type at the same time. So let me just do, I did Lisa J. Oh, I know what I did wrong. Lisa J. Inspire was my login. Okay, clickety-clack, and I'm in. All right, so hopefully you're familiar with Explora, but if not, maybe there's some new people in town, right? So Explora is, let's go back, and I'm just going to give you a little visual here. All right, so your Inspire search, I already told you, that search is 0 to, you know, ages 0 to 199, and so you're going to have a lot of resources here. They're going to be, you know, from a lot of different areas. and a lot of different, subject fields and age groups. So this is a very large search, including all the eBooks and all the items, all the articles. When I go into Explora Secondary or, Explora Middle School, when I go into Explora Elementary, or when I go into Explora High, I'm really just searching then a subset of that. So it does include the, the specific selection that's made for that. And then it includes a few databases that are also made for those specific age groups, right? So I like to use the Exploras. They're really meant for kids to use. And you can see that because there's this visual. When I first go in, I get an idea of, oh, okay, well, I have a lot of different information here. I have current issues in science and math, and so I'm going to have current events in here, and then I'm going to have historical events too. So lots of ways to search too. So I can do one of these browsable searches and just click on King Tut, or I can put in a keyword here, and I want to do that now. So I have just this keyword of, what's kind of hot right now, right? I'm going to do some current issues first, and then we'll go back and we'll do a little historical issues. So what about climate? Is that a hot topic right now? First thing it does is it helps me to spell. So it's helping the user to spell. My advice to you is whatever search terms you're coming up with, or if you're helping students, keep it simple. So see this here, climate change, effects on the environment. Don't do that. You don't even need to do this, or global warming. The system pretty much is going to, I want to just keep it simple, 2 or 3 words, and I want to keep it simple. And then I'm going to use my filters on the side, and I'll show you that. But this right here, or global warming, or, you don't need to do that because the system already knows. Climate change is is one of those areas that's also related to a lot of other areas. So it's already going to kind of do a search of climate change or global warming, or, if there's additional areas there. So I'm just going to keep it simple, and I'm going to do a search. And remember, what I'm searching, depending on what Explora I go into, because there's even an Explora that's for public libraries. So depending on which one I went into, either the elementary, the middle, or the high, it looks the same, but I'm searching a little bit of different things in the background, right? So, and is this the one? Let me see. I might want to go, let me see. I might actually want to go and use another one because there's a little change that I did on this one. I added the eBooks here, and it doesn't look like that it's actually taken effect yet. So let's try, actually I think I can go this way, kind of a back end way here. Let's try that high school one, or elementary one even. Let's do that one. Sorry about this. So if I do, let's do Explore for primary, I think. So you can see this is a little more simplified. And then here, I'm going to just do the same thing. So remember I told you, all the Exploras are just many ways to search a few different resources that are focusing on that kind of age group, right? So this one is for very young, and this is what I wanted. So I want to make sure that I have one of the ones where the eBooks are showing. So the eBooks then, what I did is I just did a search. I don't really care what I get. I just want something on that, on that topic. First thing I get in Explora is I may get a topic overview. What is that? This is a citable starting point of research. So how many times do you hear, well, I can't use Wikipedia, right? So, or you tell them you can't use Wikipedia. But here is a starting point of research that is citable, that they can gather information about, general information about the topic, and they're written at, I would say, like a 6th grade level. So it's not very low written, but it's not, highly written either. So I can see that I just there's my global warming, the effects of global warming, what is climate change, some different information about there. And then I have these tools over here. Once I'm in there reading, I actually have some tools over here that I can use, and one of them is this cite tool. So remember, I need to have citable sources for gathering my information. So these tools are all the same when you go into any of the Exploras when you are in an area where you're reading. So if I'm reading the text version of a document or if I'm reading the PDF version of a document, I have these similar tools. There's a few things that are a little different in an ebook, and there's a few things that are a little different in a text document. And let's talk about that. So what I see here is I can upload this to my classroom. I can save it to my Google Drive. This add to folder is the EBSCO cloud. So if I don't have a Google Drive, or or let's say the kids that you're helping, or the users that you're helping, the patrons that you're helping don't have either one of these, they can just make an EBSCO folder right away and sign in and create that folder. And that's going to be where they're then saving their work or saving their articles, saving their items. A lot of times, maybe there's, they're using a public computer, or what about if they're, they forgot their flash drive, or they don't want to, there's no printing availability. So this is just the EBSCO cloud as the folder. So let's talk about that, think about that for a little bit, and then I'll go into it in a little while, okay? Let's look at the other tools. Of course, I can print this off. I can email it. So if I do find anything in this resource, I say, hey, I'm co-teaching with somebody on this topic, or I want to email it to myself for later because I know that in November we're going to be talking about, whatever, the change of the seasons and then something else, and we want to talk about, well, is it warmer? So I'm going to bring this up, in the future, and I want to save it. So lots of things, and you don't need to email it. You can email it outside of your environment too. So let's just say you say, oh, my mom needs to know more about this information. You can email it to anyone else outside. Here's to save. This is just going to be saving it to your hard drive or to a flash drive. There's that site tool, and then a few other tools. The Permalink, I think, is important too. So you never, when you're in EBSCO, in any of the EBSCO resources, you never want to grab this URL up here. This is a temporary URL. It will work for about 10 minutes, and then it will stop working. So believe me when I say that, because some people say, oh, well, it worked when I did it. Of course, it's going to work for 10, 20, maybe 30 minutes, and then it's going to stop working. If I want to share this page, all I need to do is be where I want to share and grab the permalink. Easy for me to say, right? So here, I'm just going to grab that, and this is the URL I'm sharing, okay? So there's two things in a text document, and I would consider this text versus the PDF document that I can do differently, and it's actually these two things here. So when I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you. So if I go back on the home page here, I went into this topic overview. I'm seeing some ebooks, okay? So here's the title of the ebook. I can see it's an ebook here. Here's the title. Here's other information about it, when it was published. If I hover over here, that's going to give me the detail or the abstract. So I can see, oh, climate change is a hot button topic today, one that requires skills and examination, blah, 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 blah. Is this something that's going to be helpful for my research or for me to, help the student with? Maybe, maybe not, but I don't have to go all the way into the book if the abstract helps me, or the description of the document is basically all the abstract is. So I'm seeing that I have a lot of ebooks. I wanted to show you that, but when I find, let me see, and the ebooks are mostly going to be, you have a few other books coming out of here, but the ebooks themselves are mostly going to be the PDFs, or they're going to be an EPUB. But I want to show you then the articles. Okay, so here, and I actually want to find an article where I have a choice. All right, here. So this is from Science World. You can see that this is an article. The Meeking River, Who Owns the Water? This is from Spaces magazine. Remember, we are in the elementary Explora. So we're going to have these magazines that are made mostly for elementary school. Now, this is just something like a, see, I need my coffee. That's going to be a, let me look up here and I'm going to show you the types of things in here that I won't have to think about it. So here, you're going to have these academic journals and trade journals and magazines. And then if I do show more, you're going to have those other like speeches and items that are the documents that, you know, are just written for the schools. So you're going to have like all these type of topics, and then you're going to be able to find them here. But let's go back and look at that PDF, and I want to show you the difference. So if you see this and you say, oh, wow, you know, can we cool the planet? This is a very hot topic right now. It happens to be from Science World. It happens to be from 2019. And why would I click on HTML versus PDF? Well, if you do have the need for, if you have students or users that are going to be sight impaired and they need to possibly have it read to them, or you have a reluctant reader, that's one of the reasons why you click into the text version of the document, because you can have the system read it to you, okay? And the kids love this because it's, you know, they can change the accents and so on. But sometimes it's a necessity, right? An ESL or any other reason why you might want to have the article read. Another reason is this is also natively translated. So in the native environment, which is, you know, is EBSCO host, which is what we're using, or Explora, we can then have this read to us or translated into, I believe it's 36 different languages. So natively. Sometimes the PDF, if you add things onto your Adobe Reader, you can have these, but natively you don't have these in here. So let's look at the PDF, okay? Here we are, Can We Cool the Planet? Here's all the text for there. But what we're missing is the layout, the original layout. We're missing possibly pictures and so on. So PDF is typically where we want to go if we have a choice, unless we need those features, right? Unless we need the read to me or the translate. Because I don't have a way to natively do that here. I have my Google options, I have my print and so on, but I don't have that read to me. But you can see that this is from Science World. It happens to be fairly new, just from last year. Here's other articles that are in this same month or week, you know, of April 22nd, but here's the article here. So you can see the difference. All the same text, but the layout, right? So with something like this, we already know, you know, I'm going to have different ways that I can blow this up. I can download this. If I need to download it and then put it in a reader, a special reader for accessibility, I can easily do that. This is just downloads as a PDF. So this kind of thing, you have many, many, many resources like this. Super valuable. This is going to be 5 pages long, but the last page is always the copyright. So, you know, if you are printing these out for any reason, you can always cut off that last page, right? So any questions about this, let me know. So there's on my list, on my result list, I now kind of see title of the document, you know, access points of the document, possibly different access points, and the reason why I would choose those, okay? So let's look at some of your other filters over here on the side. And the word that or the type of document I was trying to remember was a primary source document. So when you see things like the one that we saw earlier that was this is going to be considered a primary source document. So, you know, that's why you see something like that in there. So let me go ahead. Here's all of these ebooks. Let's go ahead and open up the ebook and let's look at some of these, okay? Or let's look at how the ebook is a little different than an article PDF. And so let's just go into, let me see. Some of them have this Lexile reading levels. Some of them don't, but I can see just kind of by the title, you know, that's going to be for a little younger, or just kind of by the book there, the way the book looks, you know, sometimes I can tell, and then it tells me right here, juvenile nonfiction. I don't have a choice, I just have the PDF to open up. So I can do this, I can, you know, open the table of contents, and then I can see that there's the Industrial Revolution, Agricultural Revolution, Developing World, and so on. Maybe I just want to kind of jump into one of these to really narrow the focus and to give an extra reading material beyond the textbook, right? So if I say, well, this book here had really great resource and really great description on what climate change was, and it had great pictures and things like that. So I want to use this in my classroom environment. So here I have, you know, just as if I just went right to this page in the book, it happens to be page 12, I saw that this is where it begins. So I can see, and I have these features here where I can make it full screen, I can, you know, make it smaller or bigger and so on. And so the question was earlier, and I didn't really talk too much about this, is that the ebooks that you find in here are unlimited. So what that means is that if I want to use this in a classroom environment, and let's say we're all on our devices, and I say, hey, you know, everyone, let's open up EBSCO, let's look for climate, you know, let's open up Explora, and let's look for climate change, and let's, you know, either everyone can find their own book to read, right, or let's all open up Earth's Climate Change, Carbon Dioxide Overload. Let's open up that book. Now, in theory, without technical difficulties, you know, including network difficulties, unlimited means that 200 people should be able to open the same book at the same time, okay? There's not a limit on the amount of books that are available at any given time. So I have this book, I have a little bit of different features up here. Here's my Google Classroom, there's my Google Drive, there's my Permalink. So I don't want to grab this URL, I want to grab this URL. If I'm going to steer people to page 12, this is where I want, this is the URL I want to use. So I'm going to say here, everyone, boom, here's the URL. Let's click on it and let's get there and start reading. Or let's see. So some of these, especially in the kids' books, okay. So some of the kids' books actually do not allow you, because they're so short, they don't allow you to print anything off or save or email. You would have to use this as a full reference book and just go back in it all the time. But if you do see this, you are able then to print this chapter. You know, let's just say I just want the chapter. I can also download these 2 pages. That's going to download as a PDF. I'm going to be able to do whatever I need to do with that PDF. If I need to send it out in an email, if I need to upload it into my classroom environment, maybe it's Canvas, maybe it's Moodle, maybe it's you know, maybe it's Google. So whatever classroom environment, any other PDF that you upload, it's going to be the same type of thing. So lots and lots of ways to share this. And what I was telling people earlier is I wouldn't worry about doing this full download. The full download means you're taking the whole book offline and you want to keep the whole book, you're checking it out. The full download is you have to prepare your device. Do you have an ebook reader on your device, whatever that is? Is it your phone? Is it your iPad or another Android device? And then you have to have an account, because it's going to say, well, now that you want to download, you know, who are you? Because I need to kind of know who you are and how long you're going to have it and all that. So I would stay away from the full download, and I would just do the chapter downloads. At any given time, you're going to be able to download up to 100 pages from any of these books, okay? So any questions about any of these? You know, there's a dictionary, there's all that. You can kind of, I really encourage you to search in here, play around, and use your resources. Use all, you know, use the ebooks, definitely use the articles, and so on. Did you notice? So ask any questions in the chat, please. Remember, go to the top of your screen, click on that chat bubble, and ask away. So in Explora, did you notice that even though I'm in the elementary version of Explora, did you notice that you could also then narrow by reading level? So you have this ability in all of your Exploras. So even in the older Exploras, you can still go down, you know, to different reading levels. Now, content is different, remember, but at least the reading level is a start, okay? You can also then look for the types of the, you know, if you say, well, I'm really looking for just more popular reading materials, or I do need it to be a little more scholarly, and not a popular reading. Or maybe I just want to limit to eBooks because that's what I want to do is I'm looking for eBooks about climate change, and then here they all are. You see how I just got rid of all those articles, and now I have those on eBooks. Climate change, I can also do, if I do a new search, I'm just going to do one other search. I'll do it in here. I know I'm in the lower level, but you're going to be able to go into your areas and then do the same type of searches. So if I just did this search on election, I see that there's my primary source document. So I'm going to have the ability to say, well, what are those? Are those features or something? This is another hot topic right now. So what is an election? I don't know what this is right here. I'd have to look at that, but I'm going to skip over that right now. But I also have that topic overview. It's going to just give me basic information about the topic. Then I have some eBooks. I have some, some additional eBooks. I'm going to have a lot of eBooks. I have an encyclopedia entry and different types of eBooks, and then I'm going to have some articles coming out of those magazines. Okay, so same type of thing you're going to have when you do those different resources. If I do want to, let me see if I did this. I'm going to just do Martin Luther King Jr. So I'm just doing a keyword search up here, but then I'm going to see I have some great eBooks. But if I do say, well, I wonder what primary source documents are in here, then look at. So this is in the lowest level. Remember, if I went to the higher level, the middle school or the high school, I'm going to have more primary source documents, and they're going to be, the I Have a Dream speech, letter from Birmingham Jail, and so on. You're going to have additional resources, lots of speeches and things in here. So let's go out and let's do, so does anyone have any questions about that? I said I was going to talk a little bit about the folder, and then we need to move over to Learning Express. So the folder, and then please ask your questions in chat. I'm not getting anything in chat at all, so I'm going to move on, but I'll go back and look at it in a minute. Let's go, I'm actually going to go out here, my little cheat sheet to go out instead of going over to Inspire, and let me try to go into the high school one. I just want to show you, you're going to have a lot of different resources in there. So as soon as I go, I think it's this one maybe. It's going to be the high school. So as soon as I go here, I'm going to have, different resources. So if I do want to, oh, that's what I was going to do, something like something historical. So I could do that, like the Civil War. I already showed you where you saw a lot of Martin Luther King things. So if I see that, I just put in Civil War. Here are my eBooks, right? Those are going to always pop up if I do something super simple like this. And I should be keeping my search simple. But remember I told you here, when I'm here too, I'm going to be able to either filter, maybe I do want magazine articles, or maybe I want a lower reading level, right? Or maybe I need higher. Maybe I want to get rid of the lower reading level stuff, okay? But kind of the key is the eBooks will go away. If I click primary source documents, the eBooks are going to go away. If I click on one of these Lexile limiters, most likely the eBooks will go away too, because you're filtering, and a lot of the eBooks are not Lexiled, and they're also, none of them are going to be a primary, considered a primary source document. Okay. Someone said, can we do a search for a famous Hoosier? You have to give me the name. Do you not have a name? And if you're looking, I would say this, that if you're looking for something at 4th grade level, and if you start in Explora Elementary and you don't find it, I would move up, right? So I would move up, so go to the middle school then, and look for something there, or go right to the high school like this one and then use your filters, okay? So you're going to get a lot more, or Orville Redenbacher, let's do that one. David Letterman, now you're like Jim Davis, everyone's like, we're going to do, we skipped lunch today, so we're going to do the popcorn. So in here, remember too, I think we're going to have like different things if we go down to that, to the other Explora, but I'm in this adult Explora. So let me do, I think, uh-oh. Is that right? Is that the right spelling? I just copied and pasted. Yeah. Okay, so someone's telling me, so let's see. 2 L's? It still should find it like that. It still should find, what if I just did, oh yeah, with an E, yeah. That's what I thought too, so. You think the last name was spelled right? This is bad. Sorry. I'm going to keep it simple. Okay, copied and pasted. Right. Okay, that's going to be a better one. So let's do that one. You're like, just put Meg Cabot in there. Just forget about Horrible. But let's someone cut and paste it right from Google. So let's see. And I'm surprised, and this one also may have a setting where it's not checking the spelling, because it should really be, it should be saying, did you mean, you know, so I'll look at some of those settings, and Kara, you'll keep me honest about that and make sure that we have that did you mean turned on if it's available. But you see, once we did know the spelling, and thank you, Google. Google's great for some things. Then we see that there's some things going on here. And this is, remember, we're in the high school. But someone did say, well, what about for lower level? So then I would probably go down to a little bit lower here, maybe something like this. And if you do see these lexiles, oh, look, the sneaky side. So if you do see those, let me go back and remove that. So a lot of times, if you just click on one thing right here, it's just going to take it and go with it. If you want to choose multiple, then do the show more. And that's when then you can choose multiple. So if I say, well, I want these 3, right? Because it's, you know, even though this may be a little bit higher, I definitely want these lower levels. And so then I'm able to choose more than one. So now I can see that I have some things here about Orville Redenbacher. And these are going to be, you know, like, I mean, because it is a popcorn guy, right? We're going to see there's something from nutrition, there's something from brand week, and but you might find other things out when you go into the other resources. So someone asked me, well, how do you find? Let me go back and do a new search and clear this out. Someone asked me, how do you find the primary sources again? So if I did do, I think if I do Dust Bowl, and don't forget that each one of these is going to work differently and has a few different resources behind it. So when you're here, if you're using for high school, and if you don't find it, then maybe you need to go up, you know, I would then go like here to Inspire. But if you're using the elementary Explora, move up to middle. If you're using the middle and you're not finding it, move up to high school. A lot of these are just adding and building more. Okay, so don't just say, oh, it's not there. I look and I can't find it. But here, either this climate change would work, but I think that's both will work. I should have, so here. So I just did a search, and here these source types are going to be the one. Okay, and I do need to move over. Thank you for those questions. So I do see that I have something there about that. Climate change, same kind of thing, primary source documents, just minimize it from that. And now I've been sitting there too long, and that's why it kind of died there. But let's go and move over. So any other questions about Explora, please explore it. And then we'll ask, and I didn't even get a chance to talk about the folder, but you already know, if you need to save items and you don't have any other place to save them, create yourself an EBSCO folder. Once you log in initially, or once you see that you're in Indiana State Library resources, you can log in as yourself then, me, Lisa Jones, and your stuff will still be there, okay? Make an account. So now let's move over to Learning Express. And the first thing I'm going to show you is, because we're going to run out of time, and that's great, is when I go here to help, and I got this from your homepage, remember, so it's lots of different ways. So if I go to help and I see these video guides, I want to show you. So today, we're not going to be able to spend 20 minutes in Learning Express, but guess what? You should. You should just go ahead and look at this video. Or maybe you just want to learn more about taking a test or a tutorial, or what about downloading an ebook, or why do I need to sign in and out again? What's that about? So as a user, you're going to be able to go in, let's go back to the home, and you're going to be able to poke around and pick around and look around. But the second you want to do something, you want to download a book, you want to read a tutorial, you want to take a test, you're going to have to make an account, okay? And the reason why that is because these are test prep resources. So how many times do I need to come in and take this mathematics test? How many times can I come in and read the ebook, and so on. But there's lots of different areas here, and I want you to explore all of these. But today in our homework help class, we want to focus on two, okay? One is the career prep for those of you that are doing upper level school right now, and you're helping students learn about careers and you know, find out information about careers. Look, there's learn more about what about workplace skills, and then there's actually specific tests. But I think this one here, learn more about, is a great resource for you to use, most likely at the high school level for you know, for that type of environment. So, or you know, for that need. Okay, but mostly right here is where you're popping. Right here, school center. This is for K-12. Look. Elementary school, what's here? Remember, these are going to be core skills. They're going to be to bring your core skills up from wherever you are. So I do have mathematics skills improvement. There's geometry practice right in elementary school. Number and operations practice. Let's just look at this, operations and algebraic thinking. Now I need to take another drink. So there's my grade 4, practice 1, practice 2, practice 3, practice 4, and so on. So look at all the practice tests. So that's why I said, if I'm starting out, I'm going to start out with practice test 1. How do I do that? Well, I'm going to have to get in there and make an account. Then as soon as I make an account, and I've already done that, I can just do sign in, and I just signed in with Google. Excuse me. I think I did. Let me see if I can get in there. There we go. So once I sign in, either by creating an account or by using my Google, I then have the ability to start, you know, to actually do something, right? So I can start the test. Let me go ahead and just do that. I can start any of these. I'm going to start one. And this is you know, I'm doing this on my own as a student. So I'm, you know, I maybe need to know a little bit more about the test, and I have choices on how I want to take it. Look at this test. It's going to be 75 minutes long. So most likely I'm going to take it in pieces, and I can take it in 2 different ways. I can take it as a practice that's going to give me explanations after I've finished the whole test. It's going to tell me what I did wrong, what the answers are, and what I need to do to bring up the areas that I'm a little, you know, that I need to bring up, right? Or I can do the learner, which is then going to give me the instant feedback. So this is, I think the learner is a great way to take it. Answer a question, boop, wrong. What did I do wrong? Oh, okay, next time I know. So either way, however I want to take it, I'll just choose learner. I'm just going to start the test, and now I can read it. I'm going to make that, and then it's going to tell me, you know, here I can check the answer, right? So I can do that. So I'm going to take a few, boom, boom, boom. Now I'm going to finish later because I need to hurry up and go. I only have 30 minutes every day that I'm going to do this, or I'm going to score. Telling me I didn't do very much, but as soon as I score it, it's going to say, oh, I got 20%, but guess what? I better going back into that basic math in 15 minutes a day. That's an ebook. I can download that. What about taking this test? I better take the next test of thinking practice 2. So it gives me then my guidance of where I need to go. So this is really pretty much the way when I'm in Learning Express, as soon as you get as soon as you help a student get in there, they are doing this on their own and moving forward on their own. So elementary school we looked at. Let's look at middle school. So middle school, I'm going to have more resources. I might have some help here to say how do these tie in with Common Core. I even have some high school prep here in middle school. What do I have in high school? In high school, I'm going to have even additional resources like technology skills and science skills, logic and reasoning skills. So all of these are going to be able, I work the same way. So if I want to have the geography practice, I'm going to go in, I'm going to either have, so for this one, I only have an ebook, right? So that's going to be great though, because here's geography review in 20 minutes a day. That's all I need. But if I wanted to do something else, I'm going to find different things. So if I look at the mathematics, I have tests here. Sometimes I may have articles that I'm reading. I may have flashcards that are available to me. So depending on what I need, I'm going to have then different resources to be able to build my knowledge, and everything that I'm doing lives in my center. So really what you want to do is you want to get a user logged in with an account so that when they start doing things, all of those things are then being kept track of, right? So it's all going to be here in my center. If I'm needing to share this with someone, like, look, I have been doing the test that you told me to do. I can download this and I can just, share this through like an electronic copy back to my teacher if I need to show them that I'm working within this environment. I've completed so many tests and I still am waiting to complete the others. So anyone else, we talked about the other center areas earlier, but if you do have any other things, like if you just said, well, what about, let me see what we did this morning. Well, you could put any test in here, so let's say, well, I know that I have a high schooler, but they just want to make sure that they're really, prepared, and they can still take some practice GED tests or practice flash. That just reviews kind of your skills, Guess what? As adults, go back in and try to pass that GED, huh? So it's kind of fun, too, to practice, to test on our own skills, So lots of ways that you can find information here. If you have specific test or item you're looking for, you can type it in here. If you just want to use the browsable features, you can. So it's nice to be able to then use the browsable features here. And so here's kind of the exploration of these careers, right? So let's explore green careers. And it's just really basically takes me then to an ebook, okay? One of the places we have 7 minutes, I think. So any questions at all about anything that we've talked about? So what about any of the Exploras or about this? This really is one of your key resources for test prep now. So get in there, use it, take those take those video guides if you need to, and then ask your team, ask your Inspire team if you have any future questions with this. If you do want any kind of promotional materials, I would love to show you where that is. I'm not seeing any other questions about this. But right down here, I'm just in the main environment here. Each one of these is a separate area. If you are a school, let's just say, well, Lisa, I'm a 6th grade school, and I just want to put this school center on there. I'll link to the school center. I don't really want to have this other adult stuff and all that on there. You could create a link just to this. So each one of these centers have their own links available. And then a lot of times, even within the center, you can link right to this only. So when you have, if you're building a website or you have kind of a lot of unique links already on your site, these can be linked individually, okay? definitely, if you're working in a school right now, your college prep center or your counseling office and all that should know that you have these resources, these college prep resources, okay? But down here at the bottom, I wanted to show you administrators and librarians. Lots of promotional materials are available. Any page that you're on, scroll down, go to that administrators and librarians. If you do want those e-bookmark records for your catalog, you can get them. If you want some promotional materials, what about some handouts, or you want to send some items to a specific class, or if you're a public librarian, maybe you just like homeschooling, if you're doing outreach. So you do have this product here, Learning Express Library, okay? There's some other ones down here, little bits and pieces of it. I think this one, if you just click on that first one there, I have, here's information about how to create direct links, and here's some social media kit. So are you promoting these items on your Twitter or Facebook account? What about just a poster or, an electronic item that you can then hand out? Or, include in an ebook. In an email, I'm sorry. You can tell that it's getting late. So I want to go ahead and end. So you do have a lot of promotional materials. If a month from now you say, where was that again? Go ahead and let's share, ask Kara, ask the team. And so here's Kara's information there. And we will be doing, I think we're going to be doing some other sessions, moving on into the future. Any feedback that you want to give us on that survey about what else you'd like to learn about your new resources, let us know. And then I'll work with Kara and her team to make sure that we can get those in, for you. So I appreciate your time today. I hope you had a great day, all day, going in and out of all these sessions. Kara, thanks so much for inviting me. And we will be sending out, let me see what I have to send out for you. So I do have, there's a survey that's going to pop up when you close the web browser, but I will also be sending out certificates that you can then create on your own. And then any questions that happen to not be answered, please ask please ask.
Thank you, Lisa. I really appreciate this.
Okay, yeah, thank you too so much. And someone's saying, I want you to know that someone else is here from Centerville. So if, okay, I'm going to grab, so what I was saying kind of too, I will grab everything in the chat, and if there's questions that weren't answered, we'll send out another queue. And then for anyone that does need a certificate that is not going to be registered for this class, I'll look for those too, because I see someone put their name in there. So Lori or Christy, if you don't get an email from me, then ljones@ebsco.com. There you go. That's pretty easy. ljones@ebsco.com. But hopefully everyone will get what they need. And have a great weekend, everybody.
You too. Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.